All right. We are officially live here at True to New York Sports Studio with Lou and Boog Sports Talk. Boogie, what is going on, my brother?
What's going on, man?
Yo, Boogie, what's that in the background you got there? Where are you today that you are still committing to our True to New York Sports show today?
I am at work, my people. I am at work. I'm dedicated to the show, so I said, you know what? Let me just set up at work anyway. I just got to make sure that our product is out there. My excitement about sports is being relayed at work. It won't stop me. So this is where I'm at, bro.
That's fair. You know what, Boogie? I love the dedication. Listen, I had to do the same thing when I went into AC. We don't want to miss out on our fan stuff, right? We want to continue to do the show for you. That's dedication, brother. I approve of it. And thank you all for tuning in again to another episode of True New York Sports Talk with Lou and Boog. We're on episode 22 now. Episode 22. We have a lot to talk about. And before we get into anything, I want everybody to know that we got some breaking news, by the way. Dak Prescott officially signs a deal with the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, so Dak Prescott will be in a Dallas Cowboy uniform again. Apparently, his ankle must be holding up pretty well, even though that was a really bad break, Boogie. Remember when we did that show? That was a really bad break.
That was rough doing the replay and everything.
A little bit, yeah. That was a little hard to watch over and over again. It was kind of crazy. But anyways, Dak Prescott, breaking news, signs with the Dallas Cowboys. They are going to be making a deal. Dak Prescott will be most likely your starter once again for the Dallas Cowboys. So kind of good. I'm listen. Even though I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'm very excited.
Did you click the flyer?
Yeah, I clicked the flyer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're good.
Because on my phone, I just see the flyer. I don't see me.
Oh, I did. No, I don't. I did. I swear I did.
Right.
But anyways, yeah. So Dak Prescott again going to be a Dallas Cowboy. I'm happy to see that they're signing him. Jerry Jones, I guess, doing the right thing. He probably sees that he's on his feet, that he can move around, and everything is good to go. So
yes, sir.
Very good. Anyways, let's get into topics today, Boogie. Boogie, we had the AllStar Game last night.
We definitely had an AllStar Game. We had an AllStar Game. We did.
Boogie, tell me a little bit about, before we get into, we're going to get into the 3-point contest. We're going to get into the dunk contest, and we're going to get into the actual AllStar Game itself. If you had to rate this show yesterday between everything on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you rating the show? This
Honestly,
NBA All-Star Game.
In my opinion, I got mixed opinions about certain aspects of it, through and through. You know what I mean? Like, I think the skills competition was pretty good. That's usually very smooth. So that was pretty good. The big men always like prove to be the better skilled than the guards for some reason. I don't know, that bounce pass in that little circle seems to get everybody. So I don't know how that is, but that was ran pretty smooth. The All-Star Game itself, obviously nobody expects no defense to be played. So,
right.
But at the end of the day, with all the with that COVID stuff that happened, you know what I'm saying, and Durant being hurt and stuff like that. So you already knew LeBron's team was going to win, but Jesus Christ, they didn't give
no mercy, Boogie. No mercy.
God. My opinion on the dunk contest. I mean, I feel like they didn't put enough effort that they should have put, or I can't even blame the NBA. Maybe it's just the fact that lack of participation. The lack of participation was so bad. You only had 3 contestants, and one of the contestants hasn't even played an NBA game. Stanley,
right.
Like the dude on the Pacers, that dude didn't play an NBA game. He's straight out of the G League, and we got this guy in a dunk contest. So, like I said, I'm just going real quick, of my opinion. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I give the whole weekend, that whole day, the Sunday, 6.5.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Listen, I always have a little controversy with the NBA All-Star Game because it doesn't lead to anything as far as what the season goes, right? It's strictly for fun. It's strictly for the fans. But for me, the dunk contest is always like my go-to. Like I always want to watch the dunk contest because you want to see what people do, right? And especially after 5 years ago when Zach LaVine and Gordon had some back-to-back, going back and forth with each other, and that was like the cream of the crop. So I expect that from the NBA every year. But this year you had a bunch. Listen, not that Obi Toppin isn't a no-name guy, but Obi Toppin is a no-name guy in New York, right? Like if you don't know him and you didn't follow him in college, you don't know who he is as a player. So we were excited to see Obi Toppin, and I honestly thought Obi Toppin had the better of the dunks in the finals. But it was kind of boring. I would have rated everything overall probably. Man, I don't even know. I want to say a 6 out of 10. I definitely want to say a 6 out of 10.
I don't want to say everything was boring. Like I don't want to give the impression that I feel like everything was boring, because I mean there was a lot of things that I was intrigued about. You know what I'm saying? Like I doubted Obi Toppin originally going into it because I didn't feel like big men really shine that well because they're so tall, so they don't get to be as creative, I guess, as a shorter person. But Obi Toppin did pretty well. That initial dunk that he did through the legs and spinning.
Yeah, he did like behind the back, dunk. Through the legs with a one-hand slam. That was nice.
But that kid on the Pacers got robbed because his first dunk was amazing, and they graded him really low. So, like I said, they still haven't fixed this judging controversy thing. Like they need to fix this thing. They supposedly fixed it in the finals by just picking a name instead of doing a score. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Simons, like if you know basketball, that dunk that Simons did, kissing the rim thing, like that dude got ups. Like
no, he did the 12-foot dunk, which was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Good. That was creative. You know what I'm saying? But what he lacked in that dunk was if he took that basketball, he should have like at least like bring it back and like a little thunderous or something, like put some type of effort. He got it.
Right, he just kind of like caught it and slammed it. Yeah, that's all he did. Yeah,
he lacked. I mean, he was creative by having the basket there, but he lacked the creativity of the finish, the flair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They look for flair. You know what I mean? Like when Obi Toppin got robbed when he jumped over his dad and Randall. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even just the fact that he jumped over them. Yeah, he put his hand on Randall's shoulder and everything, but they really tall. But
no,
he cleared them
really,
and did a windmill. You know what I'm saying? Like he cleared them and did a windmill. Like that's crazy. Not a lot of people can execute that. But let's say going back to the kiss dunk, that kiss dunk is really difficult. And obviously his mouth is not going to touch the rim because he could have shattered his teeth.
Well, so somebody actually, so we're actually going to play. I'm going to play that for you right now, and I'm going to explain what he should have done prior to trying to attempt that dunk. Okay, so we're going to watch this real quick. I'm going to show you guys. All right. So this is the dunk that Anthony Simons does to win the dunk contest. So at first you see it, right? So at first you see it and you go, okay, all he did was he slammed it down. But if you watch, he tries to kiss the rim, but he doesn't do it.
Because you can't actually kiss the rim on that because that will knock all his teeth out.
No, so what you do here, so listen, what you do here, and somebody said it, and this is the right move. Let me exit out of this real quick. What you do is, perfect example of what you do there is you put a freaking mouth guard in and then you kiss the rim with the mouth guard and he would have won it. Somebody said that. I don't know why he didn't think of that. I understand him possibly knocking his teeth out, but he didn't kiss the rim. He didn't kiss it. I give the kid so much props.
That's a tough goal, bro. Like telling you.
You have to listen. If you're gonna win, you got to go big. You got to protect yourself and go big. You have to put a mouth guard in, COVID or not. Put a mouth guard in and kiss that freaking rim. Okay, his dunk. No, and you know what, Chris? You're 100% right. 100% right. His dunk was not as more difficult than Obi Toppin's dunk. I thought Obi Toppin's dunk was way better in the finals, and I thought Obi Toppin overall won. Simon's last dunk, if he would have kissed the rim, sold. Like I said, 50.
Yeah,
I would have given him a 50.
Sold with his teeth all over the floor.
Worth
sold,
it. You know
right?
what? You're an NBA basketball player. Get new teeth. All right.
Easy for you.
You have a show to do. All right. I think no.
But let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back to that All-Star game that you say is so boring. Did you know? Oh, actually, you know what? Let's leave that for after this. How about that 3-point contest? You can't tell me the 3-point contest was boring.
No. The 3-point contest was the best thing by far. First off, let me start off by saying I love the Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah, that's a great addition.
I love the Mountain Dew ball. Great addition. It's further behind than other 3 points that are there, so it's worth more points, which Curry kind of has an advantage of because he always takes shots from there, right?
That shot all the time. I think it's before.
But if you do it and you make it, it's worth it, right? Because it's kind of like in between that 3-point and that half court line. So yeah, the 3-point contest was the best. So Mike Conley made a run for it. Mike Conley, who has been having a great year, makes it to the finals against probably one of the best shooters of all time, Steph Curry.
Let me tell you something. Conley shocked me. He shocked me by shooting that way.
Same.
He shocked me. That's what I'm trying to say. Like stuff like that. Like the 3-point contest, it seems to be like one of the best events that they have because like shooting is a skill, bro. And like you wouldn't even have thought like a Mike Conley. I mean, Mike Conley can shoot, like his percentage is high, but he's not known as a shooter, you know? So for him to take Steph Curry to the brink like that, like, yo, that's that uncertainty. Like, that's what I like about the 3-point contest. You never know. Like I say, Curry's obviously he was the favorite, but he just barely won.
Right? No, I know. He literally, and we're gonna go watch this right now, real quick. We're gonna show what Steph Curry did on his last 5 shots of the 3-point contest. So Steph Curry literally needed to hit 4 out of 5 to beat Mike Conley, and we're gonna watch this real quick because Steph Curry is the GOAT. Okay, so hold on, let's take a look.
Not a lot of people agree with you, but yeah.
If shooting wise, I think. Anyways, all right, let's watch this.
LeBron said it.
23 going to the last drive.
So he needs 4 or 5. 1,
no, he doesn't.
2.
Not all of them. Oh,
misses. He needs to make this to win.
I got this.
And he holds the stance, gets pumped up, beats Mike Conley by 1 point. Steph Curry wins his second 3-point contest. He's
what's that, 2 out of 7? Because he can't beat Clay.
Yeah, no, he can't beat Clay. You're right. He can't be. He's only 2 for 7, and which is kind of surprising because he's going to be the all-time 3-point shooter, right? Right. He's going to be. He's just so good. He's just so good, and he. And I said this in the beginning of the year. I thought Steph Curry was going to have an MVP type of year, and he is right now. He's averaging 30 a game, 6 assists a game. He's single-handedly keeping the Warriors afloat. I love that he's in these kind of contests because he makes people want to watch it, right? He's the guy that makes people want to watch this stuff. So I'm so glad that he won. I wish I bet on him. He was plus 200. I should have pushed all in on him. But it was so much fun to watch that and the dunk contest. But I mean, like I said, dunk contest, But one thing about the All-Star game was that it was exciting at first, and then like toward the end, like kind of like what you said earlier, all the reserves started to come in. All the and LeBron's team was just dominating them. It was just.
But you want to know what? They had some in-game stuff happening there, which I like. First, you had Giannis putting on an MVP like performance, not missing the shot. Yo, I think it was like 3. I think it was 3 3-pointers that he glassed. Like, yo,
right? No, I know.
Like, right. What? He pulled it up for 3. He was having fun, man. Like, I haven't seen Giannis smile like that, like ever. You know
right, and then Giannis on top of that goes 16 for 16, first player to ever do that in an All-Star game, and wins the All-Star MVP, which was deserved, right? I mean, that's deserved.
But
and
then you had then you had little more in game stuff happening because Dame Lillard, Dame time, he
he was
feels like
Chris. That's right.
he always gets overlooked, and I do feel like he does get overlooked a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then he got Curry sitting there on his team, so he was sitting on the bench he was side eyeing Curry as he was doing his 3-point barrage, shooting, turning his back to the basket and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Dame
Right.
said, wait till I get back in the game. So Dame got in the game. What he do? He starts shooting half court threes.
Right.
So then Curry said, "Oh, you shooting a half court three? Hold my beer.
Hold my beer real quick."
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of,
yo,
let's watch that. Let's watch that as well.
Right now.
Really funny to see. We're gonna show this right now. Hold on. Of Steph Curry and Damian Lillard going back at each other. So let's watch this right now.
Nice setup for
So let me pause this real quick. So you just missed. Dame Lillard just hits one off the glass like really bad from half court. Okay. Steph Curry gets the ball, gives it back to Dame. Right, Dame, take it. He's behind half court. Money, right? Money, right? So now they're running back on defense. Kyrie does this little step, makes it. And then Steph Curry says, "Hey Dame, hold my beer real quick. Watch this. What?" And then I don't know if they showed a reaction. No, they don't show his reaction. But I mean, stuff like that is cool to see. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that is cool.
That's the fun. That's the players actually having emotion and caring about what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew that no competition with the Durant team. So they said, let's have a little competition within ourselves. And that was pretty fun to watch.
And which is kind of cool because Dame Lillard and Steph Curry arguably top 3 shooters in the game right now, right? So the fact that they had that moment where they went back and forth with each other is like, it's kind of cool. It was kind of cool to see. So that was like my highlight of that whole thing. That was like my highlight. It's like, all right, Dame, all right, Steph, I see you. And you know what? And here's the thing that I think people have to understand about the NBA All-Star Game, okay? It's not like the MLB, and we spoke about this a little bit last week. And yes, Josh Valdez, you're right. I would love to see Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Dame Lillard in a 3-point contest. And hopefully Klay Thompson gets that opportunity next year if he plays. Because I
think for sure he's jumping on that opportunity.
I agree. So here's the thing that I think people also have to remember about the NBA All-Star Game. It is not like the MLB All-Star Game, where the MLB All-Star Game determines who gets home field advantage. This is more for fun, right? This is more for fun, more for people to just have a good time, see who the All-Stars are. It's not meant for it to mean anything. And I think that's what people tend to forget when it comes to that for the All-Star Game. Because, and CP3 alley-oop. Yeah, listen, CP3. Listen,
how about that?
Yes,
I think Curry had the alley first, and then he alleyed back to CP3. That was dope.
Did. Right, that was awesome. It was awesome. Listen, the one thing I will say about CP3, I don't mean to change subjects, but CP3, and I think I said this to somebody earlier, CP3 is going to be one of the best basketball players to ever live that will never make a championship. And I hate to say that, because like the poor guy has never even the guy's been on 11. This is his 11th All-Star game. 11 All-Star games. The guy hasn't even been to a championship. Not even a Western Conference final.
That hasn't been to a championship though.
What happened?
There's a lot of great players that haven't been to a championship. So
no, I know.
That's a whole nother argument.
I would say that he's one of the best point guards to not make an NBA championship, and he's not in. And listen, unfortunately, he's on the Phoenix Suns, which is a very young team, and I know they're in 4th place, but you are in a very competitive Western Conference. It's going to be really hard for CP3 to get to a championship with that Phoenix Suns team. If you don't ask, if you ask.
First of all, they didn't expect to be a playoff team until now. Like they're playing they're a great surprise in the West.
Yeah, listen, Phoenix Suns weren't even in my top 8 at the beginning of the year. They weren't even in my top 8. So, but overall, like I said, All-Star Game, I would give it a 6 out of 10. The only reason why it was lower is because the game got a little boring toward the end. The 3-point contest was awesome. The dunk contest was meh. And it would have been nice to see Obi Toppin win the dunk contest for the Knicks. He would have been the last one to win a dunk contest since Nate Robinson. So, but yeah, it was okay. And yeah, the Suns were good last year, but they weren't a playoff contender. They finished 9th last year, I think. They didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Right.
But they're a good team. Yeah, I agree. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to our next topic since we're talking about basketball. We're gonna talk about the Knicks and the Nets second half prediction. So, Boogie, you stated at the beginning of the year that the Nets would make the championship. Okay, I stated that the Nets would make the Eastern Conference championship, and that I think the Bucks would make the championship this year. I am heavily leading toward that. I think the Nets now are going to be making the championship.
Without a doubt.
Without
a doubt.
We also didn't say this yet. Who did the Nets just sign?
Blake Griffin.
So if you don't know,
there's been a huge discussion about if he's washed up, it doesn't matter. He's not going to help the team. Why sign him? And then you got, are you kidding me? He's a great signing.
It's Blake Griffin.
This is a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So where do you stand on this argument back and forth? Because this is just a good debate.
So listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I love the Blake Griffin signing for the Nets. And here's my reason why.
Okay.
Blake Griffin is not washed up yet, okay? I am a firm believer that if you are not happy with an organization, you are not going to play with it as well as you are with that organization, okay?
Right.
When he was a Los Angeles Clipper, Blake Griffin was very dominant. And who else did Blake Griffin play with that he is now reunited with on the Brooklyn Nets? DeAndre Jordan. Jordan and Blake Griffin, even though they are a little bit older, they are going to be a good 4 and 5 combo with Kevin Durant at the 3, if needed be, for this Brooklyn Nets team. I think Blake Griffin is going to be playing his part. He knows that he's not your 25 points per game player anymore. I think he wants to win a championship, and I think this is the perfect time for Blake Griffin to have that opportunity because he was not winning with the Detroit Pistons. He was not winning with the Los Angeles Clippers, okay? Him and CP3 were not going to win a championship there. So if this is going to be the opportunity for Blake Griffin to win a championship, this is it. This is it.
But let's play devil's advocate here. You got a guy who hasn't dunked in 2 years, who was known to be a high flyer, right? He had multiple knee surgeries. He's always been injury prone. Now the Nets team is a team who needs I guess a basket presence, like a rim protector. They need rebounding, like stuff like that. That's the type of things that they need as a team. So they signed Blake Griffin. He doesn't fill those needs. Like he's not that type of player anymore. He's more of a space the floor out, shoot a jump shot, do a couple of post moves, be another option, for Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. Be another option. So now, does this affect like any of the players that's on the team? Like, will he take minutes from those type of players who've already solidified this team? Like, does he really contribute? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the devil's advocate side. Like,
I
I
understand that.
Does it outweigh the positive?
So here's the thing. Who else did you have that Blake Griffin would really be taking time away from besides like Brown? You know what I mean? Like he's not really taking. I think Blake. I don't think Blake Griffin is going to be playing as many minutes as you think.
Some people think he's starting.
I don't know about that.
Some people think he's starting, bro.
I don't know about that. I give him
not the beginning, but some people feel like he's going to be part of the starting lineup.
Yeah,
that might be a mistake. But then again, he's not the type of player that's going to give you buckets off the bench either. So maybe starting for him might be the best way.
It might be, but I honestly think Chris, like Chris is saying right now, Chris, I thought the Nets were going to get Drummond too. I really thought they were going to get Drummond. They settled with Blake Griffin. I mean, listen, I really don't think Blake Griffin is as washed up as people think. I think you just need to give Blake Griffin the opportunity, the chance to.
So do you think he's really doing with like what the Derrick Rose situation was? Like he saw himself in a situation where he's not going to be a winner, so he was just taking it easy. You know what I'm saying? hoping that he gets traded. So now that he got traded, he's just all of a sudden going to turn that switch and become almost 80% Blake Griffin of old. Is that what you're trying to say?
I listen, to be quite honest, since Blake Griffin went over to Detroit, you haven't heard from him. He hasn't really been known. He hasn't really been talked about. And I think him going to Brooklyn is going to be a sign to see of what Blake Griffin actually has left in the tank. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you because he wasn't doing anything with Detroit. He wasn't on SportsCenter. Like you said, he hasn't had a dunk in 2 years. So it's really hard to see what
that for high flyer.
Right. I honestly just think that Blake Griffin needs another start somewhere else. Right. I mean, and that happens sometimes. It happens. I mean, listen, Derrick Rose was in Detroit and he got traded to the Knicks and he was playing okay basketball with the Pistons, but he's playing great basketball right now with the Knicks. What happened?
I'm glad you admit that.
No, I've never had trouble with Derrick Rose. For the 7,000th time, people, I never had trouble with Derrick Rose. I had trouble with you guys wanting to start Emmanuel quickly right away. You sickos.
Or Derrick Rose.
No, because Elfrid Payton deserves to start. Anyways.
So what happened when Derrick Rose started?
Because Elfrid Payton got hurt. No, I like Rose. Rose has been playing very well, Chris. You can't say he hasn't been playing great. He's been playing great. He's been averaging like 15 points, 6 to 7 assists for the Knicks, 4 to 5 rebounds. He's been doing pretty well. I don't know. He's a couple steals.
That guy is not doing bad for anybody to talk trash about him. So, okay, you don't know basketball if you think he's not hooping. He's definitely.
But anyways, let's get back to the predictions. So, Boogie, Nets predictions. You had them originally getting to the championship, but not winning. Do your predictions still stand that the Nets are going to the championship and not winning?
Now this is my prediction. I think Drummond's going to go to the Lakers. That's what I think. I think Drummond's going to go to the Lakers because obviously, they're going to counteract the moves that the Nets are making. Like LeBron and AD are great, but you think that they're not going to add another piece to that puzzle to make them just as dominant? They're dominant right now. It's just the fact that they got little injuries that they're working out. You know what I'm saying? Like Schroeder, he just got back. You know what I'm saying? AD's been out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once they get their team, they got the same thing with the Nets. Like the Nets, they got their injuries. Lakers got their injuries. But when it comes down to it, if they sign like a Drummond, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, or somebody else, they might even sign somebody else. Then like I said, the Lakers had the edge already. You know what I'm saying? But now, as you see the Nets gel, it's hard to say that the Nets are not going to take it all. So right now, as we speak, currently, I say that the Nets are the favorite to win the championship. As of right now, until there's another move.
Right. No, I'm
not saying Blake Griffin is taking them to the top. I felt this way before the Blake Griffin trade, by the way, just to make that clear.
Well, listen, you thought the Nets were going to the championship without James Harden. This is before James Harden and before Blake Griffin. So
with James Harden, is without a doubt. You know what I'm saying?
No, listen, I'm going to have to change my prediction, and I hate doing that. But if I knew that the Nets were going to get James Harden, if you would have told me the Nets were getting James Harden and Blake Griffin at the beginning of the year, I would have been like,
Atlanta and the Cavs. Atlanta. What was it? Atlanta. Or was the Heat that's going to be better than the Nets? Which one was it?
It was Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah. It was supposed to be that the Nets would be the 6th seed. But hey, Deborah Johnson, what's up? But listen, not for nothing. If the Nets didn't get James Harden, this is I have to defend Joe Algieri on this one. If the Nets did not get James Harden, and with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant hurt, this Nets team might actually be a 500 team at the moment and in that 6th or 7th slot at the moment. Not for nothing.
But Atlanta would still be out the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Atlanta would still be out the playoffs. But the Nets might actually be a 500 team, a 5th or 6th seed. They might.
Well, just think about this. You're saying if there's no Kyrie or Durant, they're going to be a 500 team. What does that tell you how great this team is? With Durant and Kyrie.
Oh, I know.
And then add James Harden. Like that team.
No, I know. And honestly, the Hawks being as bad as they are right now was very disappointing. I mean, listen, they just fired the head coach too. It's a little disappointing to see this because they had some
that after a
signings.
Knicks loss?
It was after a Knicks loss. Yeah. They started going all the way downhill. Now they're like 5 games under 500. They started the year 4-0. And now they're 14-19 or something like that, or 14-20. It's
about Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah,
But
it's bad.
Rondo isn't Rondo on that team?
Rondo is on that team. Yeah,
he hasn't even played yet. So I don't know.
He's a little tiny. He got hurt again. He got hurt.
Yeah.
So he doesn't complain. But okay, so same. So the Nets. You think the Nets win the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As of now, the Nets are the favorite to win everything.
Yeah. Listen. As Chris, I think you're right too. With the Lakers, I think if the Nets are as good as they are right now, I think the Lakers need Drummond because AD can't be healthy. AD can't stay healthy right now, and not for nothing.
They are going to get Drummond.
Right, and if LeBron James goes to the playoffs without somebody like Anthony Davis, they're in trouble. I don't care if you have Schumer. I don't care if you have Dennis Schroeder. Sorry. Schroeder. I don't care if you have him. All right, you need better players on that team to make it successful. You need to because you're going to be up against a really, really tough Brooklyn Nets team. All right, so this leads to the Knicks. Boogie, we both had the Knicks not even making the playoffs.
I'm so happily wrong.
I'm so happy we're wrong too. Wrong. You had the Knicks winning 18 games for the whole year.
I'm so happily wrong.
They already have 19. So where do the Knicks line up in this playoffs? How do they wind up in this playoffs? Tell me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna just be honest. They got a rough second half, man. So this is really gonna test them. Like this is really gonna determine whether they are a legitimate playoff team. And like I said, like they're improving every day. Thibodeau is keeping them prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like they know exactly what they're getting into when they play all these other teams. The thing is about the Knicks is you don't know if they're actually going to make a move or not. That's the thing, and it's just like
it's hard to determine, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's hovering over them, like they're trying to push the Bradley Beal trade. They're trying to push this Oladipo trade that I keep hearing that I definitely don't want to be involved in that Oladipo trade. But you know what I'm saying? It's like different things like that. So if they keep it the way it is, it's definitely going to be tough. But I do see them making the playoffs. I probably see them like 7th seed, maybe. And in the play-in, I think it's from 7 to 10 is the play-in, right?
Yeah, 7 to 10 is the one game playoff that they do.
Right.
From 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9, and Chris, it's not even 4th to 10th is tight. 4th to 12th is tight, like 2.5 games tight. So you could easily lose 2 to 3 games and drop down out of the playoffs. That's how tight it is right now.
And there was somebody on the page that said they wasn't going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to finish 11th.
I don't think they're going to finish 11th. No. I definitely think they're going to be in that playoff race. I think they finish top 10, especially if they finish over 500. Teams in the East don't usually make even the playoffs. I'm sorry. Teams who are under 500 make the playoffs in the East sometimes. Yeah. Because the East doesn't have teams like the West does. So, and you think Chris thinks Oladipo is going to the Warriors? You think Oladipo is going to the Warriors? I feel bad for Victor Oladipo. I feel bad for that.
The guy doesn't stay healthy.
No, but
problem. He's always hurt.
The guy has been on like 7 teams in like 3 years. I feel who was Oladipo with? He was a Magic. He got traded to the Pacers. He got traded to OKC. He got traded then the Rockets. Now he's a Rocket. This is
now
over.
He's gonna be on the move again. He's on the block because he's always hurt, bro.
I know. I feel bad for the dude. He made his name in Orlando, and then he really became an all-star when he went to the Pacers, and now he's getting moved around a lot. I know he gets hurt, but fuck, man, poor guy. Oladipo for Wiggins. I don't know about it. Wiggins, another one who's been getting traded a lot, right?
But see, Wiggins is he's not consistent enough, man. Like he was high. He got talent. Like he clearly has talent, but he just doesn't show it. I don't know what his issue is. It must be in his mind. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Oladipo is a better player from what he's done, but Wiggins has the ability to be the better player, but he just don't do it. So I don't know as far as that concerned. But like I said,
right.
at the end of the day, I still see the Knicks being no lower than 7 seed. You know what I'm saying? Like I know they're gonna catch a losing streak. They're gonna catch a losing streak.
They probably will.
And it's not gonna be blowouts. They're gonna be losing close games because the better teams now, they're starting to get better. They're starting to gel. They're starting to get healthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like the Bostons and the Heats and stuff like that. Like those are the teams that are starting to generate, as you saw at the end of the first half. So with that being said, the Knicks, in order to be on par with that or try to stay even with that, they're definitely gonna have to play amazing, flawless basketball because they don't have the talent. They don't have the talent that those teams have. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being real. As a Knicks fan, of course I'm rooting for them to win all the time. But as a realist, like I said, no lower than 7, I think.
First things first, I'm a realist. No, I agree. Yeah, no, same thing here too. I really I could see the Knicks being a 6 seed. I would love to see them being a 6 seed just for the simple fact that I don't want to see them get eliminated in that 7 through 10 game. That, because that's just that realistically, that's what can happen. Like a one game. It's kind of like how I don't really like the MLB playoffs on the one game wild card thing, right? Because it's like one game determines your whole season after you play 162 games. But I do think the Knicks will finish as the 6th seed. That means they'll play the 3 seed, whoever they'll play the 3 seed, who I think is going to be the Bucks. So I think the Knicks will play the Bucks the first round because I think it's going to be the Nets followed by the 76ers followed by the Bucks as like the top 3. That's just my opinion. So we went from the Nets, you going to the championship and me saying they're not even going to make the championship to us believing that they're going to win the whole thing, and the Knicks not even making the playoffs. So now we're saying that they're a 6th or 5th seed. It's crazy. It's unbelievable to see, and that is very true. Mitchell Robinson is coming back soon, so that's going to be nice.
That's another thing. So now, Mitchell Robinson, does he go back to the starting lineup? Does Noel go to the bench now? Because Noel's been playing great.
Noel's been playing great.
You know what I'm saying? Taj Gibson, when he gets better, he was a good backup. You know what I'm saying? So we got, like I said, we don't need like a Drummond like that per se. Because I'm not saying that they're better than Drummond. I'm just saying like we got enough at that position. We need a perimeter go-to scorer.
We need Andre Drummond. We need Andre Drummond.
No, I just said that. That's what I'm saying. We don't. I don't feel like that's what we need. I think.
I want Andre Drummond.
Perimeter go-to shooter, like Beal.
Okay, gotcha. Now listen, Andre Drummond's a beast, right? No matter what team he goes on, he's going to get you 15 rebounds a game, minimum 15 points a game. Like he's just, and if he goes to the Lakers and AD is healthy, that's going to be really tough, Boog. That's good. Lakers Nets. Lakers Nets with the Lakers having Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Andre Drummond.
I told you I've seen Lakers Nets. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. No, I agree. So we'll see what happens there. Damon White says the experiments will hurt the playoff chances for the Knicks. Yeah, they might, but I still think the Knicks will make the playoffs, even if it's that one game thing. I can't see the Knicks dropping right now below 10th seed to not make the playoffs. They're playing too good of basketball to drop below 10th seed, in my opinion.
Yo, he also said Randall's going to get gassed about being an all-star, shoot the Knicks out of the playoffs. Yo, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I wanna attack that point. Last year, I definitely agree with you because last year his mind wasn't in the right spot. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude was just taking terrible shots the whole season. But for some reason, it just seems that he just clicked. Like he turned the page. Like the dude is finally playing team basketball, and he's getting his shots up. You know what I'm saying? Like so, he's been playing in the scheme of the offense. He hasn't been doing that wild stuff. And I still believe Barrett still does that. You know what I'm saying? Like on a fast break, he hates passing it. He forces the shot up. And I think in time, like maybe next year he'll get out of that, just like how Randall did. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys are Randall's become a locker room presence now. Like he's got these young guys looking for advice from him now. They're following his work ethic, and stuff like that. So he's becoming a leader. So he's got to know not to revert back to those ways from last year and kill out.
I don't think he's going
so
to.
That's what I'm saying. So if we end up losing, I just think we're just going to get outplayed because other teams have more talent than us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that. At the end of the day, I think Thibodeau is not going to allow a player just to go run amok and John stalks us out of a win. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that Thibodeau is going to let that happen.
John Starks this. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. I listen. I think, like I said, 6 seed, 1 or 2 games above 500 to make the playoffs, kind of thing. That's what I'm gonna say. But we're gonna move on to a different topic. We're gonna talk a little football right now, guys. So Jets GM says that he is willing to open up to listen to the phones to possibly get rid of Sam Darnold. Boogie, as a football fan, you have been saying that you think that Sam Darnold should it's time to get rid of him. It's time to move on. It possibly seems like the Jets might be doing that.
If I was him, why would I want to stay? Because you put me in a situation with Gase. You put me in a situation where I was gonna fail regardless. Because like the offense was terrible. The organization hasn't treated him with they haven't given him the talent per se to succeed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that's a broad statement because there's a lot of teams out there that don't have the talent, whatever, and some quarterbacks make do with what they got. And like I said, he's not free from flaw because he has a lot of flaws. But my thing is, he's on the team. All he hears is from the fans to get rid of him. All he hears is from management that he's on a trade block or they're listening to talk about trades. I mean, he's a professional, so obviously, you know what I'm saying, any team is gonna think trade and try to better their team. But there's nothing in my mind, if I'm Sam, there's nothing that is saying, you know what, I want to be loyal to this football team because there's nothing. I know he's got to look at the grass being greener somewhere else. That because right now the situation he's in a kind of a lose situation. To me, honestly, You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm gonna read you some stats of Sam Darnold. Okay, this is Sam Darnold's career 3-year stats, and I'm not blaming this all on Sam Darnold because a lot of it is coaching, but a lot of it is yourself as a player too. Okay. So Sam Darnold's career stats, he's played 38 total games. He has 8,097 yards. The most yards he's had in the season is 3,024, okay? Now, each year he's played 12, 13, and 13. So he's played the majority of the year, right? 3/4 of the year, right?
Right.
He hasn't had a higher quarterback rating than 85 any of his career. And his touchdown to interception ratio is 45 to 39. So he is almost a 1-for-1 touchdown to interception type of quarterback. Okay. Now, I am a fan of Sam Darnold. Okay. I like Sam Darnold. I think he needs to stay in New York because, in my opinion, he was invested in this organization from the start. Right. He said, "I'm so happy to be a Jet. I want to see where this goes." And I don't think Sam Darnold is the quitting type. I don't think he's the type that stops playing because of situations that are happening with the organization. So my thing is that I think Sam Darnold, especially under a new head coach and possibly getting Devontae Smith, is going to help his stats and him better as a quarterback with New York. And my thing is
his last hurrah, because if that's the case, this is probably going to be his last year if they do keep him.
And especially same thing with the Yankees and Gary Sanchez, right? Like this is like his last hurrah. So what do the Jets what is the bare minimum that the Jets take for Sam Darnold if they do get a trade for him, Boog? Like what would be the minimum that you would take?
Draft pick and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Draft pick and probably like money.
Right.
They're not going to get a lot from him at this moment because he hasn't proven anything. Yeah, he's a young quarterback and he has potential, but he hasn't proven anything. You know,
Ryan Tannehill
effect. You're not going to get a lot.
Ryan Tannehill effect. Maybe he goes somewhere else and becomes Ryan Tannehill.
Exactly.
Maybe. But listen, I like Sam Darnold as a Jet. I think and I'm sorry to you Jet fans. I don't think you can trade Sam Darnold to the Texans or to the Seahawks and get Russell Wilson or get Deshaun Watson. I don't think it is. And by the way, speaking of football, Dak Prescott expected to get at least $164 million. So
he's getting paid. After all those franchise franchise tagging they doing, they finally gonna pay the man.
Right. So it looks like they're finally paying Dak Prescott the money that the guy honestly deserves. He deserves it. But to get back to New York stuff, I don't know, man. I think you got to give Sam Darnold one more year. You do have some good quarterbacks coming up. You could draft Fields. You could draft Jones. You could, I don't know. I don't know. I think you have to go with Devontae Smith, though. If you're a Jet, I really do. I think you need to go Devontae Smith. You have no wide receivers. Yeah, you have potential wide receivers, but you don't have good ones.
If you're gonna keep, like I said, it all determines if you're gonna keep Sam or not. If you're gonna keep him, then you got to put weapons around him. You got to do whatever you can to get weapons on him to give him a chance. Because then there's no excuse after that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There's no excuse. No.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. No excuse at all. You're right. All right. To move on, we're going to talk a little of the Mets and Yankees, guys. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the New York Yankees real quick. Aaron Judge made a comment that Gary Sanchez could possibly win the AL MVP this year.
Did they drug test him? Do they do drug testing in spring training?
Apparently, Aaron Judge is on crack. But
he's definitely not well.
But here's the thing. We haven't seen the work ethic behind the scenes with Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez. Yes, watching spring training, Gary Sanchez's bat does look a lot better. But is Gary Sanchez a potential AL MVP? No. Absolutely not. Listen, if Gary Sanchez has a good year, he might be comeback player of the year. But as far as AL MVP goes,
I don't see that at all.
I don't see that at all. Considering you got the best hitter in all of baseball on the Los Angeles Angels of Mike Trout playing in the AL. You know, you just got Jose Abreu, who just won the AL MVP in Chicago. Yeah, but
he's not even the best. He's not even the best batter on his team.
Right, and that's another thing too. Right, Gary Sanchez is.
You were too broad. Let's just stay local. He's not the best batter on his team. He's not the second best. He's not the third or fourth best.
No, Damon. Here's the thing. Damon says, "What? We're not allowed to praise our teammates anymore."
No, of course, but let's not go overboard. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Damon White's a great bowler, but I'm not saying he's better than Don Belmo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's the thing. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool. It's cool to praise him, but MVP? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we start at AllStar? You know what I'm saying? Like an All-Star player? Like,
can we at least say that like Gary Sanchez is performing like Boogie said, an All-Star before he wasn't even the AL MVP race last year. You know what I mean? Like, can we at least say that like if Gary Sanchez was in the MVP race last year? Like, listen, if Aaron Judge said that DJ LeMahieu is in MVP form, okay, I can understand that. He had a chance to win the MVP last year. Not Gary Sanchez. And Damon White says, I am better than Belmo. Yeah. As a lefty on house shots, sure. Yeah, I will give you that. Yeah, no, but listen. If I'm Aaron Judge, I'm his teammate. I'm going to hype up all of my teammates, right? But let's be realistic here. Can we just start off by saying that Gary Sanchez looks really good this year and he's going to do really well?
He's definitely playing better this year. Definitely.
Right, exactly.
So far. But like I said, it's a short sample. It's only spring training. So, you know what I'm saying? He's showing promise early on right now.
Because here's the thing, though, Damon. If you say as big of a thing like that and Gary Sanchez starts off the first 15 games of the year, with a 64 batting average, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs through 15 games, everyone is going to chew out Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez for that. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why you can't say that. You can't say that one of your guys who wasn't even an MVP, who hasn't even been playing well the last 3 years, can be possibly MVP. You just can't. You can't. And then this goes to the Mets too. We're watching the Mets. Boogie, DeGrom killing it, right? Throwing it like you said earlier. He's throwing 100 miles an hour. And your boy, you love Peterson. Peterson killing it, trying to earn that 5th spot on the team. Well, how are you liking spring training for the Mets so far?
Like I said, there's a lot of upside going on right now. They're trying to figure each other out. They got a lot of new players that they signed. So like they're trying to get their chemistry together. You know, we got Rojas trying to get everybody.
Omar, he's at work. He's at work, Omar.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they trying to get that camaraderie together. Like DeGrom, he's motivated to get his 3rd Cy Young. Like I said, Peterson, he was, you know, he's not being talked about as much, but he's definitely showing really well so far in spring training, trying to get that 5th spot. I think he's the favorite, and I think he's probably going to get that. We got a lot of bullpen competition going on. Blevins came back, and he's trying to earn a spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like I said, Lindor got his first hit. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Lindor, they're finally going to open up some contract talks with him now. Like he's the first person. They said they're going to do it one by one, so they're going to do one at a time. So Lindor is finally going to get his contract stuff being talked about. Hopefully, they extend his contract because we all know he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. I believe he's too talented to just let walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's big contracts out there. He's 27 years old. He's in his prime. We're going to have to pay this guy, you know? And then, like I said, after that, then we got to do with Conforto, who's having a good spring. Nemo's having a great spring. Even Alonso, Pete Alonso is having a good spring. So we got a lot of promise with our bats and stuff like that. And like I said, Stroman is still trying to find his way. You know, his control. I mean, he's talking a good game, but his control still needs some little work. But like I said, it's still early. But right now, as a Met fan, I see the promise, man. Like this East is going to be tough, but I definitely see them competing to try to get that East title.
Yeah, listen. I honestly think, as a Mets fan, it is extremely smart to try to sign Lindor right away. And let me tell you why. The top 10 shortstops in the league, according to NBC Sports. I'm going to list you the names of the top 10 shortstops in the league. You have Carlos Correa, okay? Obviously, the whole scandal with him and Houston, but still, nonetheless, one of the top 10 shortstops. Then you got Tim Anderson. You got Xavier Baez. You have Trey Turner. You got Bo Bichette. You got Corey Seager. You got Xander Bogaerts. You got Trevor Story, Francisco Lindor, Francisco Tatis, right? So you have
Fernando Tatis?
No, it says Francisco Tatis here. I don't know why. I know it's Fernando Tatis, but it says Francisco Tatis. They messed up here. But you have – I just named 10 great hitters in baseball right now, and they're all shortstops. And my thing is that the shortstop position is stacked right now. It's stacked. That's not even naming.
And we have one of the best ones in
I was position. Just right. You do, right. And listen, even if they move the Yankees move Gleyber Torres to short, right? Like, that's the plan too, is have him at short. Like 11 shortstops in the game. So losing somebody like Francisco Lindor right now, right, it'd be really tough to find somebody to fill that spot. So if you do sign Francisco Lindor this year, regardless of how you guys do for the year, that is huge for you guys. The guy's only 26 years old. You can get him for 10 years, 27. You can get him for another 8 years, 9 years. He'll probably sign a 6-7 year deal. And that would be huge for you guys. You guys would have a franchise shortstop for the next 5+ years.
And he's already showing leadership stuff already in the dugout. They love him. He got the personality of Jose Reyes. Like, he's already a fan favorite. So, you know what I'm saying? Even in his interviews, you just feel like the positiveness that he has. You know what I'm saying? He's clearly talented. You know what I'm saying? So it's refreshing that we made a deal for somebody of that caliber. So it's just that in Met fashion, are we going to lose him, or are we going to actually sign him? And that's the question.
No, listen, and Chris brings up a great point, is that you've got to market these guys, right? Like the Mets aren't doing a great job marketing him right now, and neither is MLB with all these trades, right? So Francisco Lindor really reminds me of someone that the Mets love. And what's his name? Jose Reyes, right? Jose Reyes was the franchise shortstop for the Mets for years, right? Everyone knew who Jose Reyes was because they marketed the shit out of him, right? And especially when he won the batting title. So, yeah, Jose Reyes isn't probably as powerful of a hitter as Francisco Lindor, but they have very similar styles in look and appearance. So you got to start marketing these guys to get their names thrown out there. You have to, especially if you sign them.
Remember too, the Mets are used to being the side girl in New York. You know what I'm saying? So they're not used to having all this attention. They haven't had this attention in a long time. Like we had a good team in 2016, but it's still, you know what I'm saying, it still wasn't the same as like in the 80s when the Mets were really had control of the town. You know what I'm saying? But the Yankees still own the town. So with that being said, the Mets still got a lot of work to do to garner that kind of attention so that they can market him the proper way. You know what I'm saying? Right. So now you can have two powerhouse teams in New York together. You know what I'm saying? Because Yankees clearly have talent from top to bottom. You know, the Mets are developing talent from top to bottom right now. You know what I'm saying? So now that they're in that developing stage and they're just about almost there, now they can start properly, you know what I'm saying, showcasing these guys. Because look at Conforto. Conforto's been darn near our best player for a little bit, and nobody outside of the metro area probably even know who Conforto is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you got guys like Syndergaard who advertises himself on social media. So everybody who knows who Thor is, everybody knows who DeGrom is because he's the best. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Actually, I think he should be even more. He should be even more famous, being that he's that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. Like I said, the Mets have a hard time doing that for their players for some reason. But
it might listen, and we also got to remember there's new ownership too, right? There's new ownership. So they might not want to be promoting Lindor just yet until they sign him this year.
Probably.
Because what are you going to do? You're going to start promoting Francisco Lindor, and then he leaves after a year. You're going to invest millions of dollars to promote him, and then he leaves. So they probably want to wait, but they got to get the ball rolling. And Chris, I agree. MLB marketing is bad. You don't see a lot of MLB commercials on TV. I always see football stuff. I always see basketball stuff.
But that's all because baseball itself is struggling for the younger viewers to even watch because they refuse to evolve with the modern day like the rest of the sports are doing. They want to stay with the old rules, the old ways of being, and they got to change that. Like because young kids think baseball is boring.
Boring.
They
right.
Can't
No, I agree.
baseball. So that's the problem. Like they could put all the commercials in the world. People are not going to pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like basketball is exciting. They're running up and down the court. They're doing wild stuff, arguing with refs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always action going on. Football, everybody's hitting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like it's excitement. You know, you're throwing a football like 30, 40 yards down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're promoting, like a offensive type of game in both of those sports. But baseball, they're trying. Like they had a juice baseball last year or the year before, where they're trying to get offense going. But it's got to be more than that. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be more exciting for the younger people. And until they figure that out, you know what I'm saying? They're always going to be behind the times, you know. And
listen, Boogie, I agree with you 100%. I also don't think that it helps MLB's marketing when, first off, baseball is like the American pastime sport, right? So dads take their kids to games, fathers take their sons to games, and now you can't even do that during COVID. So I'm sure MLB is taking a hit alone on that because going to a baseball game, in my opinion, is a lot better than watching a baseball game on TV.
Well, it is lot. I love baseball, so I can watch a whole baseball game.
No, I can too. I can too. But if I had to pick or choose for the rest of my life to either watch a game live or watch a game on TV, I'm gonna want to watch it live. So
we would all love to go to the games.
Right? Yeah. No. I know. But what I'm getting at is that it's exciting to watch in person, and a lot of people find baseball boring on TV. Because you're just watching players standing around. You're not in that atmosphere. You're not in that environment, right? Yeah. So people are getting bored just watching people stand and throwing a ball to a catcher. until something actually happens, compared to actually being at the game. But football and basketball, there's consistent running, hockey even, consistent running, consistent hitting.
People underestimate hockey, man. People underestimate hockey.
Right. It's a very, I wish more of our sport fans on our page liked hockey, because it is a great atmosphere. Hockey is one of the most fun things to watch in person, in my opinion. My list goes football, hockey, basketball, baseball, to be quite honest. Hockey is a lot of fun to go to games to. And when we had our event last year, we had a great time. The Rangers lost in overtime, but we had a great time.
Good turnout.
It was a great turnout. We had like 20 people go. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But we will once COVID is better, we will start doing ticket stuff again. For all of you guys that don't know, we did a Yankee playoff game when the Yankees were playing Houston. We went to the Yankees baseball game. We had like 10 to 12 people go. It was awesome. We had a Mets event. We had a Rangers event. Hopefully when COVID passes, we can do more of these things. So that is the plan. But anyways, before we end the show today, Boogie, do you have anything else that you want to say to our fans before we stop the show, or?
Nah, man, like I said, like, I'm just rooting for my Knicks. Like, everybody knows I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I'm just rooting for my Knicks. Y'all can catch me on Instagram after all the Knicks games, either me being sad or happy. So,
Yeah, and you'll catch me on Instagram too after Yankee games. I think I'm gonna do that just because.
I'm probably gonna do some Met games too. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of games in baseball, so you might not see me doing that after every baseball game. But I'm definitely a diehard Met fan too. So.
But Boogie, what we should do, if anything, we should probably do like when the Knicks make the playoffs. When the Knicks make the playoffs, we should do their first game. Maybe we could do a watch party somewhere with everyone and just go have a couple of drinks or something. And, maybe we could hook up with the Married to the Knicks guys and we can do like a huge watch party thing and host it live on Facebook. Like, I think that would be awesome. That'd be freaking great. Yeah. Yep. But all right, guys, listen, we are out of time for today. Boogie's working hard here. He's trying to save the city. You notice how Boogie can actually sit down and work because because he has so much money, he just pays everybody to do things. So, but that is what Boogie does. I think it would be great. I agree. And but anyways, until next week, guys, episode 22 in the books. Boogie, it is always a pleasure, my brother. You get back to work. Thank you for taking the time out, guys. We will see you next week. We'll most likely have a guest next week as well. So until then, stay safe, wear your masks, and we'll see you all next week.
Follow us on all our
follow us on everything. Follow us on.
And we got new merch coming out.
Facebook. We got merch coming out. Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, everything. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Peace.